We contacted the Turkish embassy in London about the allegations made in this interview, and they said, "These expressions are unfounded allegations. During the planning and execution of Operation Olive Branch, all necessary measures have been taken in order to ensure that civilians are not harmed. Contrary to the allegations, any type of ammunition that is prohibited by international law and agreements is strictly not used by the Turkish armed forces. Turkey has long been at the forefront of efforts to counter terrorist organizations, including the PKK, KCK, PYD, YPG, Daesh, Al-Qaeda, and their affiliates, and Turkey is a key stakeholder in the fight against Daesh. It should not be forgotten that an area of almost 2,000 kilometers squared between Azaz and Jarablus has recently been cleansed from Daesh terrorists."
Well, to get the other side of the argument now, I'm joined by Turkish political scientist and historian Dr. Mehmet Perinsek, who's currently in Moscow, Russia. Mehmet, welcome to Going Underground again. We've heard horrific allegations of Turkish military using chemical weapons, of killing hundreds in Afrin against the US-backed and de facto Russia-backed YPG in Afrin. What is Turkey trying to achieve there?
Yeah, but it's, I think, a classical propaganda of the West. Before the military intervention, they publish always news like that. For example, before Iraqi war, they told that Saddam has mass killing weapons, and after they apologize for it. But I want to underline that in the Operation Olive Branch, Turkish armed forces are fighting against a terrorist organization, not against Syria or not against civil people. No, PKK and PYD are armed terrorist organizations acting both in Syria and in Turkey. These organizations is also responsible for a large number of terrorist acts in Iraq and in Iran too. That's why the operation of the Turkish armed forces is a contribution to peace and security in the region, I think.
Why do you think, then, that the Trump administration has poured hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe, into supporting the YPG, certainly PKK affiliates?
Yeah.
No, but presumably the White House would say they're doing that because they want to fight ISIS-Daesh.
Yeah, as Trump recognized, ISIS was founded by USA, and USA is using ISIS to legalize the Kurdish separatism. It's very important. ISIS and PYD are fighting whenever America wants them to, and then they cooperate.
But we invite the new US ambassador to London on the program. I'm sure he would immediately deny that the United States government began and created ISIS-Daesh.
Trump said it, and for decades, PKK and since the beginning of the crisis in Syria, PYD have been supported directly by the United States. The American chief of staff called this organization, PKK and PYD, as its land force. And according to their own data, USA sent them 5,000 trucks loaded of weapons.
What you're saying seems to be describing a NATO civil war under Article 5 that would allow Ankara to bomb Washington. I mean, is this seriously the state of NATO, the NATO alliance today?
Yeah, the Turkish armed forces are fighting against a power controlled directly by USA, and one of the Israel news portal reported the Afrin operation with the headline of "End of NATO." And it is right, I think, because the conflict is not between Turks and Kurds there. The conflict is between Turkey and between NATO, between USA.
Okay, you obviously don't like Washington. What about the fact that it's Russian-backed Assad troops that are also protecting the US-trained YPG in Afrin?
No, I think Turkey and Syria is on the same side.
Well, then how is it Syrian army forces are surrounding Afrin, backed, of course, by Russia and Iran?
No, I think there is no cooperation between Damascus and PYD. The successful operation of Turkish army weakened PYD. Therefore, PYD began to surrender to Syria.
What do you think that will happen if Turkish troops kill one of Donald Trump's soldiers in northern Syria?
Yeah, it will be a big, of course, a big crisis. But I think the Atlantic area is ending, and United States' claim for the role of the master of the world has clashed the rising rocks of the Eurasia, and the attempt of United States to divide the countries in the region is a hamper for the unification and growth of Eurasia.
Well, okay, so finally, you are happy, though, with Britain's position, Theresa May's foreign secretary, saying that Turkey has the right to protect its borders. Britain definitely not supporting Washington or Moscow de facto in Afrin.
Yeah, it's of course a good, because we can see that America is now alone in the world. They have no partners now. They have Britain was, United Kingdom was the one of the important partner of USA, but now Trump is alone.
Mehmet Perinçek, thank you.
Thank you.